Hey guys, so I am right next to a 1971 Oldsmobile that is an unrestored original survivor. I'm going to talk to the gentleman that owns it.
When I got back from from Vietnam in December '69, back when I was there, I had a dream of basically buying a car like this if I got back in one piece.
So welcome to another episode of Junkyards and Barn Finds with Sean, and I'm Sean. And you got to see this car. It is just perfect. This is from J.J. Wright Oldsmobile. Here's a copy, $3,350. There's all the paperwork. This is a special ordered 71 Cutlass Supreme. This is the same car, unrestored, original owner. It's never been painted. It's never had the interior redone. They've always kept the car in a garage. It's never seen snow or salt, and it only has 40,000 miles on it.
So basically, when I got back in December '69, I decided that it was time to buy the car, and I didn't have the money. So basically, my dad and I.
So you're the son in the story that I see in the trunk.
Yes,
okay.
I am the son. He said, if you want the car, you got to go to work. So I went to work in a steel mill, worked a year and a half, and I saved about $4,000. And then him and I went to the dealership in February of '71 with $4,000 budget, and we bought the car together.
Now I noticed the car it's like bare bones. Like, this is like drag race car. It's got no power steering, no power brakes, air conditioned delete.
Right.
So was that on purpose?
Well, it was because of my budget. My budget was $4,000, and I paid $3,350.
Right, I saw that.
So I was approaching, and I could have got to $442, but that was pushing it a little bit more. So I wanted to keep it under $4,000. So what I got was, the base price was $3,369. I think he got it up to $3,800. And we negotiated $3,334 tax, and a $50 deposit was.
Now, did you, because back in that, now today, if you ask anybody, oh, you're going to go order a car, anybody who was born after '84 goes, what do you mean you're going to order a car? They have them there.
Yeah.
But back in the day, you went to a dealer, they may only have a couple of these,
right,
and then you said, I want this, right?
Right, I want this car, and I want it to, to have these type of features on it. And
you picked the color?
I picked the color. I picked everything on this car. Mm-hmm.
So, and that's why it's so personal. That's one of the reasons.
Well, one of the reasons is, and again, it was personal because of the 50 years. My parents, kids, all have been part of it. And that's what it's all about. That's what life's about too. It's basically, but the real crux of this car is really from my dad, who lived through the Depression. And he immigrated through Ellis Island. He comes from very little, but when I used to travel a lot for work as an engineer for the steel company, he used to take care of it while I was gone.
I was gonna say, because taking care, like now somebody buys a Hellcat or anything, they go, oh, we're gonna keep this.
Right.
But back then, people bought cars, they kept them 3 or 4 years, and they got rid of them, because you could only even finance a car back then for 3 years.
That's true.
So that's what I was gonna say. Is it your upbringing or something in your family that made you keep a car this pristine?
Well, again, it was personal. It was one of my dreams to have the car, but secondly, my father. Again, coming from the Depression and taking care of things. When I used to travel for work, he used to wax it, take care of it. He put on, I don't know how many coats of the Simonized, hard wax on it, kept it that way. And basically, when I came home from my trips, I used to always ask him how things were going. He said, well, I took care of the Oldsmobile for you. Everything's fine.
There's the Protecto plate. It's only got one little dent in the bumper. There is no rust on anything about this car. This thing is so straight, never been repainted, never wrecked, never in an accident. Still has the original wheels, the original painted wheels with the original trim rings. No air. The original painted engine. It's just clean. no power brakes, no power steering. Still has the pad in the hood, underneath the hood. It still has the pad there.
And then he did put a couple of scratches on it because he took the car while I was gone. He took my mother out shopping and backed into a light pole.
Right, I saw the one dent.
Scratch. But he was, you know, but he was a very humble guy, and he was very important to me because, again, what he reflects, I reflect, because I,
right.
You know.
And so the other question is, because people back then didn't keep cars for that long, no matter what, usually, like, how many times in life have you gone, you know what, like early on we're like, oh, I'm going to trade this in since it's in good shape? Or did the thought never, this was my car, I'm never trading it in, right. It's just what it is? When
we brought it back, and when the car was brought back and came from Lansing, picked it up, I put it in the garage, and that was it. Basically, it was kept in the garage because it was something I worked for, and it was part of my dream. It was a big part of my life, and I wanted it to be what it is. I wanted to look like it does and keep it as good as I can possibly keep it. But again, it would not have happened without his help.
Right.
You know, he was a very big part of this thing.
It would have to be. There's no way that somebody without any help or just, I don't want to say training, but family, community, whatever you want to call it, would hold on to something and keep it this nice for 50 years. It's got the wood grain Cutlass Supreme. Dashboard is like brand new. As you can see, the air delete, they're just blocked. These are vents. It's got the AM radio in there, only a heater. It's an automatic. Bench seat car, black interior, all black. No power windows, no power anything. This car had 0 power. So for those of you who were born in the 90s, you may not know that cars actually came with nothing power at one time. This did. We're gonna go underneath the car real quick. You can still see the gold painted oil. So under the car, you can still see the oil pan is painted gold.
That's right, and I'll keep it as long as I live, because he died in 1990, and I've had it alone now for 31 years. And I understand what we went through. You know, I mean, it was not easy to keep it going. Like when I bring it back to home tonight. By the way, I never washed it with soap and water. It was never washed with soap and water. So you don't want to put water on it unless you have to. You get caught in the rain, you get a wet chamois and chamois it down.
But you drive this too. It's not, this isn't something that is a trophy that's sitting in a garage that gets trailered. I mean, I've seen this car drive, so you take it out and enjoy it.
Yeah, well, of course. It's got 53,000 miles, and you'd have to. But when it goes back, it's taken care of. Like right now, it's going to come back. I'm going to take it, dust it down with the little damp chamois, and cover it up. And then I'll drive it in another week. And
when you take it out on Saturdays or Sundays, and
it's gonna look
you
good.
Take it out for your ride.
Yeah, and I keep it. I got a 3-car garage, so it's got its own garage. It's got its own cover. I took it to a national Oldsmobile show, which was a once-in-a-lifetime chance, and I wanted to do that. And fortunately, my wife was wonderful. She was able to support that. But I wanted to take it in front of the best Oldsmobiles in this country.
Right.
And I took it and I showed it as an unrestored car in a points class, which was, you know, not just.
Well, I was just at Carlisle at the GM show like a couple months ago, and there was these, but this I think would have probably been inside the showcase because I saw what was there, and this has as original Survivor low miles. I think this would have been put in that showcase.
It may have been. I don't really know. I've never had it appraised because I've never been. You know, I'm not interested in, you know, what somebody's going to try to give me. What I enjoy doing when I come to shows like this, and that's what I enjoy doing, is to talk about my dad, our family, and what it is.
Now, do you have anybody who's going to inherit this yet?
Yes.
Okay, do they know?
Yes.
Has there been a...
My niece and nephew in California.
Okay.
Especially Scott, my nephew, and he'll be taking it. And I'll
Okay.
make sure he gets it. Because I'm, you know, I'm 75 years old, so you know my time is getting to the end here. But
Yeah.
he was a little boy, so he knows exactly what it's all about.
So he has the same feelings for the car.
Yeah, he does.
This is a family heirloom. This
It
is not a car.
It is. Yeah, exactly. That's right. I don't look at it as a car.
Right.
I look at it as a family. You're right. That's a good way to put it. An heirloom. Yeah. It's part of a part. So
well, it's absolutely stunning. I mean, I went through it, and it's just with the camera we went through it and everything else. And I know the people that watch our channel, like survivors, are like somebody could take it one and make it identical to this, but it didn't. It's not survived. It doesn't have the wrinkles. It doesn't have the life
well,
that this had.
when you put it in a garage for 42 years, kind of indoor up in Chicago, and never took in the snow, you know that'll happen. I mean, you can do that.
Yeah.
But we did that. When it snowed, you know,
It went away because it wasn't the winter car.
Right. You only took it out in the winter when the snow melted, and you could take it to the gas station and put gas in it, because we'd have to run it
Right.
in the garage when it's zero.
Because it was leaded gas too, so
Right.
you couldn't just let it
Run
sit
it
like
in.
now because it would varnish.
Right. We just have to wait till the snow melted, and then you take it to the garage. But in the meantime, when the gas tank started running low, my dad and I get 5-gallon can of gas at the gas station, carry it and run it in the garage. Carry it to the car in the garage, fill the tank up with 5 gallons of gas, and continue running it till the snow melted, and you could take it to the gas station.
Wow.
So it never was in the snow.
Wow.
And if it was in the never.
Now, are your other cars in just as good a shape?
Not really.
Or I mean, they're now made of plastic.
Yeah.
They're not really gonna last, no matter how good you take care of some of them now.
That's
So
true. You don't.
they're made to die at a certain 5-year period.
Yeah, they are. This is a very heavy car. Obviously, you know that.
Yeah, I've owned Chevelles, and the Chevelle was a 70, and so they're about the same body style and the same heavy doors. I mean, these things are tanks.
Well, they are.
And they're awesome about that.
Yeah, and it's just a matter of, as I said, just keeping up with the basic things. You change your belts. You change again, because it was in a judge show.
Right.
And I took it to a lot of judge shows, and I really had a wonderful article written on it too, which was very personal. I was very lucky to get an article written on it, where I was able to tell the story of the original survivor.
Right.
And it was in Grandeur magazine, and this is
I'll
very
take it.
special too. I had a once in a lifetime chance to have this done in my life. Where is this? Grandeur magazine. I was at the AACA Depot show
Okay.
on 10th Street,
Okay.
and a lady came up to me and she said, "I see you're an original owner." And I said, "Yeah." She said, "Well, there's got to be a story behind that, Ron." I said, "Yeah, there is." And she said, "I write for a magazine called Grandeur, and we
Okay.
see Grandeur a lot in doctors and dentist's office."
Right.
And I said, "Well, what do you want?" She said, "Give me your name and phone number, and I'm going to call you and see if we can maybe write something. There's got to be a story behind that." I said, "There is a lot of story."
Oh, nice.
And so I never heard from her for months. She finally called me. She said, "Ron, I talked to my editor, and we want to do the story." I said, "Wow." So she said, "No embellishment. I'm going to interview you on the phone for about an hour and a half, and I want you to tell me the story about your car and your family and how this thing ended up like it does."
Right.
I said, "Fine." So we did.
Okay.
So we interviewed her.
And when was this?
3 years ago.
3 years ago. Okay, so 2018.
And so she wrote it, sent me a copy of it. I okayed it. So basically, that's it. She said my editor wants to do it.
They say they need pictures of it too, I'm sure.
Well, yeah. But this magazine, Grandeur, as I said, it's catering more toward women because
Right.
you see the bras.
Right.
So to have an article that relates to men, we wanted to get more men readers,
Okay.
male readers. So the article on the car would be perfect.
Right.
And I said, "Okay, fine." So she said, "I'm going to send a photographer over from the Naples Daily News." I said, "What?" She said, "We'll do it in front of your house." I said, "Good." So we did a photo shoot in front of the house,
Nice.
and we had the article completed. And she said, "Can I go inside the house and look at some of the photos of your family?" I
Right.
said, "Why would you want that?" She said, "Well, maybe make it a little bit more interesting because you obviously are pretty family oriented." So she came in, took a picture of my dad, my parents when they were at a wedding. I said, "Thank you." So anyway, so she did print it, and printed 25,000 copies of this.
Right.
This thing went from Fort Myers, from Estero, and all the way down here. So anyway, this is unbelievable. But it's called
So the original
Survivor, and this is the story of this car and my dad, and how it ends up like that. This is in front of, we live in Lely.
And you have a model of it.
Yeah, I made an 1801 die-cast model.
Right.
That took a year and a half to build. But
this actually will be good because we also have a channel that, well, we have for people who build models. So seeing an original car, they can compare when they're building this. So you can actually build Ron's car.
Yeah.
And if you do, put it in the comments. If you build a model of it, put in the comments of this story so Ron can see it.
Absolutely. So this is an 1801 die-cast model of it. But the personal part of it is my parents.
Right.
It's a very personal picture. That's my father and my mother at a wedding in 1955.
Nice.
So all this, and obviously I got a lot of trophies over the many years.
Right.
Trophies don't mean anything really to me, but it's nice to understand.
Yeah, I've given all mine away so they can reuse them, put somebody else's name on them.
Yeah.
When you get a bunch.
But it's fine. But this is an unbelievable experience to be able to tell the story.
Right.
When I'm telling you the story,
Right.
just is here.
And so, all you guys, this is, if you take care of your stuff, if you learn to take care, if you teach your kids to take care of stuff. I don't know with some of the new cars how long they'll last, but maybe 50 years from now there'll be somebody doing some kind of 3D weird thing on another planet, telling the people on Mars about your car here in Fort Myers with your dad.
I have no idea, but
I don't know.
I don't know either, but it is a special story, and it is mine.
April, should they subscribe to this channel even if they don't like cars today for this one?
Probably just for this one.